Hello, everybody. Welcome to Google News Lab training today. Thank you for making the time to sharpen your skills. I hope we give you ways to make your reporting a little bit faster, a little bit easier, and give you your hour back today. My name is Maggie Farley. I'm a news trainer with the Google News Lab. I am one of many around the country and around the world who have been working with newsrooms and journalists and trying to make your reporting just a little bit easier, more engaging, a little bit faster. Obviously, we're not in your newsroom today. We're in your homes or wherever you may be, but thanks for making the time. I am part of the Google News Lab, which is under the umbrella of the Google News Initiative, and it has three parts. I'm with the training part to help elevate quality journalism. There's also a publishing team that works with publishers to drive subscriptions and memberships. And in May, we have a new tool called News Consumer Insights that does a diagnostic of your news site, and it tells you instantly what you can do, gives recommendations on how to improve your site to faster, to make it more engaging, and to get more people to become loyal readers. The third part is the tech team. So it's a group of engineers who are creating tools for journalists like you, tools like Backlit, which we're going to get into later, which is a fantastic AI machine learning tool to help you parse your documents and index and organize them much faster than a human can do it. So that's great. Google's also trying to support innovation in the journalism landscape. So there's Google Innovation Grants that'll be announced this spring. So if you've got a great idea to use technology to transform the journalism landscape and help support other journalists, that's your chance to get funding for that. So stay tuned. We have a news training website. So in addition to what you see today, you can go to this website and look at all of the courses and tools. You might want to open a tab now and just bookmark it so you can go back later. It looks like this. And it has courses, tools, and here's some of the featured tools. But right here you can see where the online training workshops like the one we're doing now are recorded and collected. And they're in 10 different languages, so if you don't want to just learn it in English, you want to practice your Arabic or your Japanese, you can learn that way too. So make a note of that site. It's great. The modules are in 5 to 10 minute bites. They're really easy to go through. You can learn Google Earth or data visualization, all sorts of tools. But today we're going to talk about advanced search and investigative tools. So we'll start with Google. Everybody knows how to Google, advanced search. Then we'll look at trends and how you can mine trends to see what other people are searching for. We also have some new tools to help you track the spread of COVID-19. And we will finish up with my favorite, Backlit, which is that wonderful AI searching tool. So let's start with advanced search. So everybody knows how to Google. In fact, it seems like it's always been around. I mean, my kids ask me, why didn't you just Google it? Well, it didn't exist until 1998. And in 1998, this is what it looked like. Look, it even had an exclamation point because it was really exciting then to be able to search the World Wide Web and find what you were looking for. And now it's much more sophisticated. You don't just get blue links. You can find articles and recipes and reviews and videos, and you can help the Google search engine find all of those highlighted elements through structured data. And this is something for the developers to know about. It's a structured data testing tool, and it will look at your code and tell you if you're doing it in the most optimal way for the search engine to find your content. But for us mere mortals, there's a simpler interface. When you search, there's sort of a newish feature called the Google Knowledge Graph. and it highlights the most searched information about prominent people, places, organizations. And if you happen to be a prominent person and you qualify for a Google Knowledge Graph, there's actually a little box at the bottom that says claim this knowledge graph. And if it's about you, you can verify the information. You can't edit it. It's not a resume. It automatically collects data from authoritative sources that respond to the most searched questions. So for example, you can't just decide to highlight which spouse you want listed if you have had more than one. It's automatic. So Sergey Brin and Larry Page, when they created Google, they wanted you to find whatever you're looking for really quickly and efficiently. And to this end, there's some new features that elevate authoritative content. And, this is really important for journalists because it surfaces now the journalism that is the most authoritative, the most original, not the most recent. So if you look at the search page now, you can see if you search for coronavirus, they will automatically come up with authoritative sources, news sources that are considered reliable, a current map, and information from your local government. It's the same thing on YouTube. They're trying to downgrade anything that might be considered disinformation, misinformation, and surface what is the most reliable. So you'll see the very top box here is the latest information from the CDC. So now let's just look at a Google search and some of the little hidden attributes that you might find or might not have noticed yet. So say you're looking for puppy adoption. You can find out where to adopt a puppy, search by image. You can look at news sites, news stories about adopting a puppy. If you go over here to this little menu that says more, you can see videos, books, how to train your puppy. And the cool thing about, say you're looking at news, you can also go over here and search tools and sort your results by whether you want a news story or blogs, the time frame, and relevance or date. So these are some of the kind of undiscovered little tools. You can also get into the settings, and when you search by images, if you're looking for an image that you can reuse without copyright permission, that's publication on your Twitter or whatever, you can search by usage rights. So that's a fun little thing that not a lot of people know about. Another little known site for search is Public Data Explorer. And it aggregates information from a lot of different public data sources like the World Bank, IMF, census.gov, which is really a wonderful site full of rich demographic data. But the thing I love about this is that you can play with the data right there on the page. And for example, this is a graph from the World Bank looking at fertility versus life expectancy. And you can really easily see the outliers and the trends, as China's one-child policy affects the fertility rate. Cambodia and Rwanda go backwards during the genocide. And then you can play with the way that this information is presented. You can do it in a line graph, in bar charts, and so on until you find what you want. And then you can go over here to the links page and copy the embed code. You can share it. You can email it. You can do all sorts of things with it. It's free. It's interactive. It's animated. It's really a great tool. So that was Public Data Explorer. There's also the Fact Check Explorer. And that is designed to sort of counter all the misinformation, disinformation, give you one-stop shopping for fact checks. So it aggregates fact checks that other groups have done, like PolitiFact. Factcheck.org. And you can just search right here to see what some of that disinformation has come up as. There's also something, maybe you've played with image search. You can search by image. You can drag and drop an image right here in the search bar. You can paste an image URL. And there's another way to search by image, which I'll show you in just a second, but reverse image search is one of the best tools for verification. So you see it over social media, or maybe you get user-generated content, and you want to see if it's original or if it's been used before, if it's been manipulated, or you're getting it out of context. So this is an example from the People's Daily of China, the state-run newspaper, from their Twitter feed, and this picture, they say, is of the new hospital they built in 16 hours in Wuhan. But if you do a reverse image search, which you can do just by hovering over the image, doing a right click or a double-fingered click on your trackpad if you have a Mac, and this toolbox pops up, this menu. Go here to search Google for image, click there, and it will show you all the related images, visually similar images that have been published to the web. And if you do a little bit of investigation on that, you will find this page. This is the website for a construction company, construction elements, and you can see that it's the same picture. So the hospital may have been built from these modules, but it's not necessarily a hospital that was built in 16 hours. So that's one way to verify information using reverse image search. Okay, now we're going to move on to search refinements. And these are just little things that you can add in the search bar when you're searching by keyword, just to make your search a little bit more precise and get more specific results. There's dozens of these little search refinements. I'm just going to show you the top few. Don't worry, you don't have to take notes, because we have right built into the search page a little menu box with advanced search tools that leads to a little cheat sheet. It's a template that you can fill in, and it will do the remembering for you, or it tells you how to do it in the search box, which I'm going to show you again right now. So you can do things like excluding words and characters in your search. Say you're looking for the speed of a Jaguar, but if you type Jaguar speed, maybe you want the car, but it looks like the results about the cat. So you can go up to the results and type in -cat, and it should only bring back results about the car. That's a nice thing. If there's an ambiguous term you want to refine, put the minus sign and it will ignore anything that you tell it to ignore. You can also search for keywords on a specific site. So say you're interested in antibody tests, but you only care about what the WHO says about it. So you can search site : and then WHO, and it will show you what's on the WHO site only. Or say everybody's talking about that funny little hedgehog who does obstacle courses like American Ninja Warrior. And you saw it on your scroll, but you just can't find it again, but you can search the site. So you just do site : Instagram, and then your keywords, Pepper Warrior Hedgehog, and there's Pepper. Pepper's going up the super slide, and Down she goes. Pepper's winning in super slow-mo, Bob. Okay, back to work. You could also search keywords for a specific domain. Say you want to find something out about Boris Johnson. Is he out of the hospital? Did he really have a baby? But you only want to look at British websites. So you can limit that by writing site : just for the UK. And what will come out? Yes, he announced a birth of a son a couple days ago. And you can see that the sites that it returns are only in the UK. So that's one way to limit a site or a domain. Okay, now we're getting into the advanced stuff. So say your editor asks you to do some stories about the alt-right, and you just don't have any alt-right folks in your contacts. Well, one way to source is to search Twitter, for example, and look at the lists that other people have made featuring alt-right accounts. So you do site : twitter.com, and then / you could put any user's name here, but if you're looking for anyone, you can just put this wildcard, which is an asterisk. It's fill in the blank, and then lists, and then your search term. It could be alt-right, it could be coronavirus experts, whatever you want. And it will search other people's lists. And then you can get in and explore the accounts and the users, DM them, set up interviews. It's a great sourcing tool. Lists on Twitter, they are public and searchable. Good thing to remember. You can also find related sites to something you're looking for. Maybe it's not quite right. Maybe you're interested in webcams around the world. You can't remember what they're called. So you can do a related search and find different live webcams. Great for armchair traveling right now. You can also find the last saved version of a site using cache. So that's the saved version. The search engine is always crawling the web, sort of taking pictures of websites. And so you can find the latest one. So here's an example from the CDC. And there was a lot of talk at one point about the CDC changing their website. And you can't quite remember what it looked like. So you go here to the website you're looking for, copy the URL, cache : paste in the URL, and then in the results, go to this little downward triangle. And if you click on that, it'll show you cache, the last saved version of that website. So if you then you can compare. So look at the CDC website from March 3rd and how it's different from February 29th. So there was a lot of talk about how the total test cases were removed. You can see that they're not there. And there were conspiracy theories swirling around. This is the end of February. But journalists reported it out and found that the reason that the test sites, the test number of cases were removed was because at the beginning of March, states were beginning to do their own testing in their own labs and not sending them to the CDC to be processed. So the CDC let the state health department sites put them on their own sites and didn't try to aggregate them because they weren't getting the results real time. So that solved that mystery. No conspiracy. Thank you, reporting. You can also find other cached versions of websites in archive.org. It's also known as the Wayback Machine. And it's super useful for reporting when you're trying to find deleted websites or older versions, or you're looking for historical data. Some websites don't put up the new number of COVID cases every day, for example. You want to go back and see what it was 3 weeks ago. It's a good way to do it. But the Wayback Machine was hit the news just last week in a story about the Health and Human Services new spokesman. It turns out he deleted a lot of tweets. So an enterprising reporter from CNN, the K-File, went back to the Wayback Machine and put in his Twitter handle, and then you can look at all the Twitters that were the tweets that were cached, and revealed that he had tweeted some things maybe not behooving the spokesperson for a government agency. So that was very useful in a recent story. You can also search by file type. So say you're just looking for PDFs, which is the form that the government publishes its documents in, and you want to find something secret. So you can search that way, but you can also limit it even further by combining the operators. You can put in the title you want secret, you want the file type a PDF, and you only want to search this site, CIA.gov. And you never know what you might come up with. Brain warfare. You can also search by file type when you're looking for data sets or spreadsheets. So for example, you can look at file type CSV, comma separated values. So if you're looking for expenses and you just put in straight expenses, it would come up with this sort of generic search results. But if you search by file type, then you'll only get the file types that are CSVs. You can do XLS, you can do all sorts of things. But even better, there's a new search engine site, new Google site called Dataset Search. And it only returns data sets. So this is great for all you data journalists out there who don't want to sift through all of the results looking for data sets. This is all you get right here. And it also sends you to sites that aggregate data sets themselves. And it has these wonderful filters. So you can search by freshness, by format, usage rights, and also free if you don't want to pay for any of the results. There's a lot of good free information out there. Okay, so alerts. So you don't have to keep searching all the time. You can set alerts if you just go to the Google alert page, and you can put in your search terms. You want to be notified next time some secret document slips through the cracks and comes up on the web, the search engine. It happens. And you can set it daily, weekly, so forth. You can track your own byline and see when your story shows up in the Timbuktu Press or something. Or it's really good for just monitoring your... There's another useful tool. It's not a Google tool. It's called visualping.io, and it tells you when there are changes on a website. So this might be good these days for trying to get a grocery delivery slot or trying to get an antibody test. But remember, with power comes great responsibility. So maybe you want to use your little script here to help people find grocery delivery slots who are having trouble, or someone who's too sick to find an appointment slot themselves. You can use it to help people as well. All right, so I know a lot of you know about Google Trends, but as a reporting tool, it's a really wonderful thing. You see what the rest of the world is searching. And you know, a lot of times people are more honest with their computer than they are with anybody else. And so you can get a lot of really interesting insights by looking at Google Trends. The other thing, this is the Trends page, trends.google.com or g.co/trends. And if you go to this page, you can see that the Trends team has put together coronavirus search trends and trends about Census 2020. They've got a page about the elections and the primaries, which is super useful. And you can also do your own mining of the trends information. You can compare up to 5 different terms and search them, and it will come up with this graph, and you can search, you know, last 7 days or the last month. And then you can drill down into your area. So this example is, how are people searching? Are they searching more for coronavirus tests or more for antibody tests? And you see a big spike here in antibody tests. Suggests maybe a lot of people feel like they've already had the virus and now they're looking for the next step. Are they immune? Can they go out? Will that help them? Social distancing, when will that end? So on. And then you can go down and search by your region and drill down into, by state, by county even, you can see. But the coolest thing about this is that once you've found what you're searching for, you can go here and share it. You can embed it. Just copy the embed code, put it in your website, and you can download. It goes into a little CSV file. And then you can input that into, you can make your own charts and graphs, or you can put it in our data visualization templates in Flourish.studio, and make really compelling data visualizations. So that is a fun trick that not a lot of people know about, but it's great to play with. The Google Trends team will also work with you if you're working on a special project and you can't find what you're searching for on the public-facing site. You can email the Trends team at Newslab Support, and they will work with you on a special project. They also are making available the data for the top cities and trending searches by country and by state. So if you want to play with that data, it's available here. Google has special search site pages also for finance. You can track your stocks. You may want to do that this week. And also Google Scholar is a really interesting website. It helps track academic publications. You can search by article. You can also track court papers and court proceedings. You can look at the case law, and you can search for a phrase or a case in state courts and federal courts. So that is a little known but really useful tool for reporting. So I hope that you have found some things you haven't known about yet. Now I'm going to show you some tools that are specific to tracking COVID-19. I'm sorry, we don't want to be all COVID all the time, but it's what a lot of people are thinking about now. So these are helpful tools Google has launched recently. The first one is the Community Mobility Reports, and it uses aggregated data from people's cell phones, people who have enabled the location services. So there is an element of privacy there. It's anonymous, it's aggregated, but it shows how people are moving around or not during this time of lockdown. And you can search all around the world, compare country to country, or you can search within the United States, by state, and even by county within every state. And so you could look here at Lake County in Ohio. People are staying at home pretty well, not going to restaurants, but they are going to the parks a lot more than the baseline, which was collected in January, February, the month of January mostly. So that may be because the weather is much better now. Lake County, the parks are all at the lakes. It's a question that can be answered by reporting. So you can get a lot of insights from these reports. There's also the COVID mapping tool, and it is put together by Big Local News, which is based at Stanford. And it's wonderful because it's real time, it's updated, it'll save you a lot of time trying to keep your statistics up to date by yourself. And then you can, go county by county. Really wonderful. And you can search by cases or you can search by fatalities. And you can see, for example, that this one county in Georgia, Randolph County, is the fatality hotspot. Deaths per 100,000 people has more even than New York, which is another hotspot right now. And you can see other places. And so it's a good way to survey the data and get questions to launch your reporting. Okay, here we are. This is my favorite tool. It's called Backlit. It's great for investigative reporters or anybody who does a lot of dealing with documents. And So this was designed for journalists. It's still in beta, and so it's not widely available, but you can apply here at this link to be invited to be part of the beta testing. But it's wonderful for processing massive. You did a FOIA request and you got all of your documents back, 10,000 of them. Where do you start? So you would upload your documents into Backlit, and then it parses them by person, location, organization, and you can click on the results and it will take you to the document wherever you searched. And the beautiful thing about this is that it takes all kinds of documents, even images, and it can decipher handwriting. And it's coming out with another feature where you can upload a video or an audio file and it will transcribe it for you, and then you can search it. Fabulous. Not only a time saver, but just expands the possibilities so much. Another wonderful thing is that it recognizes handwriting through OCR, optical character recognition. And it even can detect text in a picture. So I was with Backlit and I uploaded some files from the House Committee that they released during the impeachment hearings. And it related to Lev Parnas, who was the Ukrainian fixer. And in the files that they released, there was a screenshot of a text which had a picture of a passport in the screenshot of the text. And with Backlit, you could search in Russian for the name on the passport that was a picture within a screenshot of a text within a file. So, 3 levels down, it was just fabulous. And so some of the beta testers have used this in different ways. The Baltimore Sun searched FBI documents about Martin Luther King to do a story about his role in Baltimore. They found that the FBI was blaming his nonviolent movement for violence. The Washington Post used it to do live fact-checking during the Mueller hearings, and they uploaded the Mueller report and their own articles and were able to do live fact-checking and analysis. And then my friend Maria Ressa of Rappler in the Philippines has used it in different ways. After the government raided their offices and took their computers, they were able to upload handwritten notes. It's all they had left. And all of those handwritten notes became searchable and indexed, and it turned out to be a great resource. So that's what I have for you today. If you have any questions about these tools, you can write us at newslabsupport@google.com. If you would like to have individual trainings or for your news groups, we can organize them through Hangouts. On any of the themes, take a look at the news training website and look at the tools and see what you might like to learn more about, and then email us there and we can arrange it. It's very easy to do. And I am going to leave this slide up so you can take a screenshot of it. It has all the links to all the tools that we talked about today, including some of these new ones, the COVID case tracker, the mobility maps, and the invitation link for Backlit. So go ahead and make a copy of that. Take a look at the news training website and see what else you might like to explore. And then tune in 2 weeks from now, same time, same place, for the next installment. Okay? So thank you again so much for tuning in. Hope to see you again. Bye.